can give shelter to everybody, this entire universe. If Gajendra prays, he can give shelter. If Vibhishan prays, he can give shelter. If Draupadi is in distress and she raises her hand, he can give shelter. He can do anybody. So inform him that I, Vibhishana, Upasthitam, I am now in the middle of nowhere. He is not descended. He is not in Lanka. He is not here. He is nowhere. That is our condition, right? We are in the middle of nowhere. And we are the ones having the disqualification as the qualification to surrender. We are the ones who are honeycombed with faults. We should be the first come here to surrender unto you. Now comes the question. Can anyone at any time, at any condition surrender? Yes. Anyone can surrender? Can a woman surrender? Yes. Example? Draupadi. Draupadi was not in the correct bodily state when she surrendered. Okay, she was not pure, physically pure when she surrendered. So purity, external purity is not important for surrender. You don't have to shower and go and surrender first and foremost. Like Vibhishan, he was right there in the sky. It would have taken him 2 seconds. Go take a dip in the ocean, come and surrender. No, even that is waste of time. You should surrender immediately. Next, can an animal surrender?
Yes.
Example? Rajendra. Yeah. Rajendra, he was in the midst of a crisis. A crocodile was holding his feet. His leg was bleeding. Was he clean? No. He was in great trouble. But then he held out a beautiful lotus flower and he said, "Oh my Lord, please accept it. Accept my surrender." An unqualified animal. An animal can also surrender. Can a Jatayu surrender? Yes. Can a demon surrender? Yes, Vibhishana. There's no qualification. You may be born in any family. Prahlad Maharaj. Yes, you can be born in any family. You just have to have the intention to surrender. Is the time important? No. You can surrender in the night, you can surrender in the morning, you can surrender in the midday, you can surrender in your mind, you can do anything. And of course, no condition is important. Surrender should be done by every single human being. Now, what is important for surrender? You should know whom you are surrendering to. That person whom you are surrendering to should be completely capable of giving you protection. Here Vibhishana calls out Sarvaloka Sharanyaya. The one who is the Sharanya for all the 3 worlds is the one I am surrendering to. We saw a lot of Sharanagati failures in the past. We saw when the surrender was made to Parashurama, it was a failure. When surrender is made to an unqualified person like Vali, it was a failure. So you should know whom you are surrendering to. And the best surrender you can do is like Vibhishan. You should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the best results. Supreme Lord for best results. Now we are talking about the qualification of the Sharanya, the person to whom you are surrendering. Should we have any qualifications? No qualification, right? But still, we need to have 2 qualifications. The answer is 0 qualifications plus 2. So what are these 2 qualities? Akinchatvam and Ananyagatitvam. So this is Srila Prabhupada. I'm going to read what Prabhupada says so that we all get a flavor of hearing from Srila Prabhupada. The person who's surrendering must be akinchana, Prabhupada's words. Akinchana means na kinchana. Kinchana means something. When you think I have something, you will not wholeheartedly surrender. We will see a case study very soon, okay? A person who had everything and who surrendered and who was a big failure. Keep thinking who that person would be and we will reveal the news very soon. So, na kinchana means one who has nothing to possess. That's why Kunti Maharani said, "Tvam akinchana gochara." You are the property of the impoverished. Janma Ishwarya Shruta Shribhir. When I am very proud that I have a great birth, I have Aishwarya, I have beauty, I have wealth, it is very difficult to surrender. You should have the mood of akinchanatvam. So, Prabhupada says, he is called as is na kinchana, or one who is fully convinced nothing belongs to me, he is akinchana. He has Krishna. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Akinchana means pridelessness. That's why Krishna's another name is Akinchana Gochara. Besides being Akinchana, he must also be Ananya Bhak. Ananya Bhak, Ananya Gatitvam. That means you will only surrender to Krishna without deviating his attention to any other demigod or any other business. That person must be simply concentrated on Krishna. That is required. Ananya means without any deviation. What is the deviation? The deviation is that sometimes we are inclined to become a devotee for some material benefits. Shunashepa Sharanagati was a success, but was it a good quality surrender? No. Who's the other person? Trishanku. He wanted Swarga. Is that a great quality surrender? It is good surrender in the sense he surrendered to the right person, but it was not first class surrender. But first class surrender means you do not surrender for material benefits. Here it is said Ananya Bhakti, without any deviation, without any material profit, you will become a pure devotee, then you will attain the spiritual world. So we should look at the qualities of the Sharanyan, that is the person to whom you are surrendering, and you should remember to have two qualities, Akinchanatva and Ananyagatitva. That is, you will not surrender to anybody. So if you have these two qualities, then your surrender will be success. Look at the case study of Vibhishana. Did Vibhishan directly get down, walk to the camp of Lord Ram, knock at his door and tell, I surrender unto you? No. He stationed there and he asked the Vanaras headed by Sugriva, can you please go and recommend me? This is how one surrenders. Okay, we ask for recommendation letter. You want Guru? Ask senior devotee, Prabhuji, please sign my recommendation letter. I would like initiation. And then, when you want Krishna, you ask Guru Maharaj, please recommend me. Then Guru Maharaj recommends you to Srimati Radha Rani, and Radha Rani carries the recommendation letter and she gives it to Krishna. So there is a huge channel, right? So Vibhishan was very aware of this channel. So he knew that he cannot directly go to the Lord. There is a big process, recommendation process. First the letter has to be submitted in that portal. It has to be approved. You have an interview and so on. Then you get recommended, right? So Sugriva was perfect. He went through a devotee representative. Very nice, right? Vibhishan is there. What should Sugriva do? He should be a good person. He should take the recommendation letter and give it to Lord Ram. Did Sugriva do that? No, he didn't do it. So is Sugriva bad? No. Why? 100%. Yes, answer was correct. He's a devotee.
Because he was thinking of Rajni.
Yes, correct. And he was also thinking of, Rajni, very good. And he was also thinking of the protection of Ram. That was the Rajni he was thinking of, right? So he was thinking, what will happen to my Lord? What if he's really a demon and he comes and attacks my Lord? From Sugriva's point of view, he was trying to be protective of Ram. But what he was doing is he was not carrying the recommendation letter properly. Everybody's problem, right? All the leaders, they all have this problem. Ask anybody, they will tell you, oh, Sugriva had the same problem as mine. I want to protect my Guru Maharaj. But then, let's see what happened in Sugriva's case. So Sugriva, he went running to the camp of Lord Ramachandra and he tells, Rama, a demon has come. He has come carrying many weapons. Okay, that is the complaint he has. Why did he say many weapons? Because he was so worried, he was so anxious. Only one mace he had. And that too, specifically, Valmiki Ramayana mentions that he had Anjali Mudra, he had the mace between his palms like this, coming to surrender. And Sugriva goes and gives a report, this person has come with multiple weapons. And our acharyas are so intelligent. They say, you know why he said that? He's a good devotee, like Prabhu was mentioning. He's a very good devotee. He doesn't have wrong intentions. This Anjali Mudra is considered to be all the weapons for the Supreme Lord. You can conquer the Supreme Lord like this by just doing this. Okay? So it is equivalent to having So Sugriva was not wrong anyway. And of course he was very, very anxious to protect the Lord. So Sugriva, he goes and he tells, this is a demon, you cannot trust him. Rama, you're very naive. You just give protection to anybody. Anybody comes and falls in, he's like, okay, I will take you. Don't be like that. He will infiltrate into our camp and he will cause you harm. And he says he's the brother of our enemy Ravana. How can he be a nice person? So do not accept him. You should be very careful. Ram was listening to all this. Was Ram happy listening to all this? No. His face became very sad. But he couldn't hurt the feelings of a devotee. So he was thinking, let me ask for more opinions. Then I will come to a compromise, hearing the opinions of other devotees. That way I will not hurt the feelings of Sugriva. So he asked the rest of the Vanaras to speak up. So all the Vanaras, one by one, they started speaking up. And they made a thorough case study, analysis. They started analyzing. Angada, who was the youngest of the Vanaras, he said, why don't you give him a multiple choice exam? Let him pass the exam. Youngsters, that's all we think. If someone has to be successful, you give them a test. And if he passes that test, we will accept him. And then there was Sharada, who said, send a spy and try to find out what his intentions are. How will you send a spy? He's already here. So he had a different idea. Send a spy, give him some days, find out what his intentions are. Jambavan said he has come here because he's very experienced, very old man. He's been there since Vamanadev's time. Yeah, he's been there. So a lot of experience from Shastra. He's analyzed so many scriptures. So he says, the time and place of this person arriving here doesn't seem right. So he started off in Guru Muhurta. He started in Rahukal. This is not good for you to accept him. So don't accept him. Like this, all the other Vanaras and the people in the were very much saying what Sugriva said, but they were trying to tell it in a very polished way. Because they were saying Lord Rama was becoming sadder and sadder and sadder. Then finally Rama looked at Hanuman. You see, I don't have a single person who's thinking like me. So he looked around and he saw Hanuman. Hanuman was very silent. A person who is very wise generally doesn't talk much. They are a man of few words. Though Hanuman was Navavyakarana Pandita, he was a great Pandit. He was very, very silent. He didn't speak up unless he was asked to speak. When he was asked to speak, Hanuman said that I am the one who has gone to Lanka and seen. In my opinion, I would like to say a few words. And he makes it very clear, Sometimes when you want to put your intentions very clearly, you say, I am not speaking out of, especially people like us. Don't think I'm complaining about him. Don't think I'm speaking about envy, but I want to tell my opinion. Right? That's how we talk. But anyway, Hanuman, he was very genuine. Okay? He's not like us. He was very genuine. He said that I'm not speaking for the sake of competition, for the sake of speaking, or for the sake of defeating someone else's point of view. But I want to genuinely put forward what I have seen. Hanuman is the one who had gone to Lanka, right? He said Vibhishana is actually a very, very genuine person. In fact, it was Vibhishan who advised Ravana not to kill Hanuman, not to kill a messenger. So he saw how Vibhishan was sticking to dharma. So he said Vibhishan is a very, very nice man. Not only that, just look at his face. Hanuman was expert in face reading. So he said, look at his face, it is so clear. If a person has malicious intentions, it will come through in some expression in their face. If you're trying to fake it, anybody can find out, right? So Hanuman says, just look at his face. He's not stammering. He's not nervous when he's saying this. If he's a spy and he wants to infiltrate, his body language it will be visible in his body language. Everybody can make out. But I'm 100% sure that he is very, very clear. His intentions are clean. He is a good man, so you accept him. This is what Hanuman was telling. So now what did Rama do? He got 1% towards him, right? But actually Rama was not satisfied even with Hanuman's words. Why? Because Hanuman said he's a good person. And Sugriva said he's a bad person, rejected him. But then Rama, he he was thinking, I'm not happy with both, but still I will satisfy everybody. He was a crowd pleaser. So he said, I will take 1 point from Sugriva, I will take another point from Hanuman, and I will synchronize the 2 points and I will tell you what I feel. And he says, repeat. Mitra bhavena sampraptam.
Mitra bhavena sampraptam.
Natyajeyam katanchana.
Natyajeyam katanchana.
Dosho yadi api tasya.
Dosho yadi api tasya.
Syat satam etat agarhitam.
Syasatam etat agrihitam.
Rama says, by any means, I do not desert anyone who arrives with a friendly appearance. He may not be a friend. He might have put on a friendly appearance, acting. Even if he comes as if he is acting to be a friend, even if he has a defect, dosho, even if he has a defect, still he will be accepted whoever he may be. What does it matter whether he is a demon, whether he is very bad or he is not bad? It doesn't matter. He says Sharanam, I accept him. Whether he has good intentions, he has bad intentions. Sugriva was telling he's a bad man. Hanuman was telling he's a good man. And Rama is saying, I don't care. Good man, bad man. He came and he's a surrendered man. That is all I am worried about. I will accept him. So, and finally he says, even if he is bad, why he is telling the statement is to encourage Sugriva. Because Sugriva was worried. He was a nice devotee. He was very worried. He was thinking, what will happen to Ram? So, Sugriva, if you are worried about my protection, don't worry. Even if he is bad, I am going to accept him. I am not seeing him as bad. I have accepted him. But even if he is bad in your eyes, he is incapable of doing anything to me. So he gives assurance to his devotee. And then Sugriva says, Rama, are you sure? Are you sure of this decision? He has left his brother. That too at the time of crisis. There is going to be a war. What kind of brother goes against his brother? Now who's talking? Sugriva, who abandoned his brother. So Ramachandra is very, very intelligent. He says, my dear Sugriva, can there be any brother like Lakshmana? Huh? There is no brother like Lakshmana. There is no father like Dasharath. He says there is no son like me. Because he actually went to the forest. And finally he looked at Sugriva. Sugriva got the point. Lakshmana is a good brother, not you. Sugriva understood. And then finally he smiled at Sugriva and said, can there be a better friend than you? Because Sugriva was giving his life for his friend Rama. Right? He was so worried. He wanted to protect his friend Rama. See how nicely Ramachandra speaks. He doesn't displease anybody. But at the same time, he puts forward what he wants to do. And he assures us.
Who is saying the second point?
No brother like Bharata. Oh, sorry, did I say Lakshmana? Sorry, it's Bharata. Ramachandra. Ramachandra said. I said Lakshmana by mistake, it's Bharata. And one thing, this is cool, okay? The Acharyas, they bring this up. Thank you actually for asking this and bringing the attention there. The Acharyas say, keeping Lakshmana with him, he's telling there is no brother like Bharata. That means you can imagine how important Bharata was to Rama. Lakshmana was doing direct service, but he was very pleased with indirect service. That is the nature of our Lord. You don't have to go and do direct service all the time. Even if you have the little intention, even if you're serving the servant of the servant, the Supreme Lord is extremely happy with you. So Ramachandra is calling out Bharata, not Lakshmana. Another commentary point. Thank you for bringing that attention. But yes. Then, and if Sugriva's point was what if he had filtered, that is when Lord Ramachandra says this. Please repeat. Pishachan Danavan Yakshan Prithvi Chaiva Rakshasan Anguli Agrena Tanhanyam Ichan Hari Ganeshwara. Oh Hari Ganeshwara. Hari Ganeshwara means the leader of the monkeys. He's the king. Huh? So he tells, oh Hari Ganeshwara, yes, I have brought your entire army here. Okay? to go and fight with Ravana. But you know what, Hariganeshwara? I can destroy all these demons with the tip of my finger. So you don't worry. This statement was especially meant to appease Sugriva. And Rama does a small katha, Ram katha. It's not katha about Ram, this is Ram doing katha. So he tells a small story, short story. He tells the story of a pigeon and a hunter. Once there was a very nice pair of pigeons perched on a tree. A hunter came and shot an arrow at one of the birds. The female bird fell down and died, and the male bird was separated from its partner and it was wailing in pain. Okay? Later, after this bird, the killed bird was captured and taken away by the hunter. After a few months, the same hunter came back to the same place, to the same tree. By that night, it was extremely cold and the hunter had not eaten anything. He was starving. He was shivering in the cold and he was starving and he didn't have anything. This hunter came to the same tree and he sat down. He lit a fire so that he could get some warmth from that fire, and at that time the pigeon thought, oh, this hunter has come to my house. He has come to my house, I must give him shelter. So the pigeon did not disturb the hunter. Rather, the pigeon saw that the hunter was very, very hungry and he himself fell into the fire so that the hunter could get some food. This is a story that Ramachandra had heard. And Ramachandra said, even if Ravana comes here and he asks for shelter and I give him shelter, what great deed did I do? Even a pigeon can do this. Okay? So here in this case, Sita is not killed. If you equate her to the female bird, she is not killed. She is taken away by somebody. And the person who is surrendering is not Ravana. It is Ravana's brother. Why can't I give him shelter? Okay, so he explains to Sugriva like this. And here comes the famous shloka of the entire Ramayana, which everybody loves. And this is the reason why we love Rama. Right? Repeat. Sakradeva prapannaya Tavasmiti chayachate Abhayam sarva bhutebhyo Dadami tad vratam mama. The Lord has declared this. Now there is a slight variation. If you read the same verse in other scriptures, it would be Sakradeva prapannaya tavasmiti yachate cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai. Right? Both are correct. Both are correct. Both mean the same. So Lord Ramachandra says, he who seeks refuge in me just once, sakrid eva, just once. You don't have to go and tell Ram or Krishna every day, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. No, you tell him once, he knows. Okay? So, but do it at least once. Do it from your heart, do it once. Sakrideva prapannaya tamasmi, I am yours. Say once tamasmi. That's all he wants. Telling me that I am yours, I shall give him assurance of safety against all kinds of beings. Sarvabhutebhyaha. This is my solemn pledge. Like Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityacha, is Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksheshyami Mashucha. Do not fear. Ramachandra is also telling, just say once, Tavasmi, I'll take care. That's all. And he says, it's my firm vow. I've taken this vow. Whoever comes and asks for shelter, I will give shelter. So, Vibhishan was accepted. Vibhishan was neither here nor there. And finally, Vibhishan, along with the 4 demons, fell at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra did not give Abhayam only to Vibhishan, but he gave Abhayam to all the 4 demons. This is another lesson. So when we go to surrender to the Lord, take a gang with you so they all can get benefited, right? When you go and see a spiritual master or you go and see some great personality, you go to the temple, you want to do Bhakti Vriksha, you gather a big crowd so that everybody can be benefited. Let everybody get the mercy. Because of Vibhishana Sharanagati, so many people got benefited. Right? everybody was given shelter by Lord Rama. Then, how did you know? Okay, of course, Lord Rama accepted him, he consoled him, his heart melted, everything. Now, how did you know that Vibhishan was surely accepted? Right, Ramchandra could have said, okay, I accept you, and he could have had a different plan. But then, interestingly, Lord Rama says something very nice. He says, "Oh Vibhishana, tell me the strength of the demons." Okay, tell me the strength or weaknesses of the demons. He doesn't say, tell me the strength and weakness of your family, of your brother, of your demons. He doesn't say that. He says, we are one party, they are one party. But since you came from that party, can you please tell me the strength and weaknesses? So there itself he declares, now you are mine. You are my property. You do not belong to the opposite property. And of course, Vibhishan, he describes the strength of Ravana. And Rama says, I understand whatever you said is the truth. And he crowns Vibhishan as the king of Lanka right there. So he shows that he's actually the supreme lord. He's not even crossed the ocean. He's not fought the war. But there itself he crowns him as the king of Lanka. So Sharanagati 13, pinnacle of success. It has all the lakshanas of success. I take another 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I'll finish 2 express fast. Okay, I know everybody's getting restless. We have the last 2 Sharanagatis. The last 2 Sharanagatis, I asked you a question. I told you to think about a person whose Sharanagati was a failure, who went and surrendered to the wrong person, who was himself not Akinchana. Did you take a guess who it was? He was not Akinchana, he went and he surrendered. And his Sharanagati was a failure. Any guesses? Dasharatha. Dasharat, but he was helpless, no? Akinchana, I want someone who was very helpless. Who was not helpless, who was capable, completely capable, but went and surrendered. No, right here, in the Ramayana. That's what I'm showing. Yes, it is Lord Rama himself, big failure. Lord Rama was a big failure. You think Rama is Akinchana? He has everything, right? Is he Akinchana? If he goes and surrenders to some mortal, you think that Sharanagati will be a success? Yeah, Rama shows by example. See, I was a failure myself, so you don't worry. And he gives us some hope. So, now, Vibhishana had come, surrendered. It was time for them to cross the ocean. But they didn't know how to cross the ocean. Now, of course, Ramachandra could have easily crossed the ocean, but he was worried there was a big Vanarasena. Everybody has to cross the ocean. So, what is the solution? He asks Vibhishan. Because Vibhishan was a citizen of Lanka. And Lanka and India, constant travels he would do. Ravana and everybody. Ravana had so many associates like Karadoshan and others in India. So there was constant commute. Of course, Vibhishan could fly in the sky. He was a Rakshasa. But still, Rama's question to Vibhishan is, how do I ensure that I, myself, Lakshmana, and the entire Vanarasena is able to cross over the ocean? So he asks a very good question to Vibhishan. Now Vibhishan just experienced something wonderful. He just experienced the beauty of Sharanagati. He was accepted by the Supreme Lord. So he said, from my experience, the best method is go surrender. Go surrender unto the ocean god and he will accept you. So Ramchandra said, excellent idea. I will also follow in your footsteps. So he goes and for 3 days, according to the Krama as laid down in Shastras, what you should do, he slept on dharba grass for 3 days. Even to this day, when you go to Tirupullani, which is there down in South India, you find this temple of Dharba Shayana Perumal, which means the Lord who slept on dharba grass. The temple is still there. So Lord Ramachandra, he goes there and he lays dharba grass and he lies down and he does austerities and he's waiting for the ocean god to appear in front of him. That way the ocean god will give him a technique to cross over the ocean. But did ocean god come? No, he didn't come. 3 days got over. Ramchandra was frustrated. He wanted to do surrender, instead he got angry. So So he said, Chapamani Saumitri. Called a Saumitri. Lakshmana, bring that arrow. Now I am going to completely dry up this ocean. And Lakshmana was thinking, I am the angry man. What is he doing here? There's a role reversal here. So anyway, Lord Ramachandra, he took the arrow and he decided to shoot it towards the ocean. And immediately the ocean god got alerted and he came up and said, Ram, stop. I was just trying to collect a few gems from the ocean. You know, ocean is an abode of rubies and pearls and all these different minerals that get washed off. So I was just collecting all the kinds of gifts to give you. Why do you get so angry? So he comes and he tries to console the Lord. And then, that is when Lord Rama asks, what's the method to cross over the ocean? Then he says, you see, look, you don't dry up oceans, okay? It's unnatural. Nor can you just cross over the ocean like that. Because the nature of the ocean is that it is unsurpassable. Correct? The ocean is very difficult to cross over. If you're stuck in the middle of the ocean and you're swimming, can you really get away? It's not easy. It's very difficult. You need a ship, you need a boat, you need so many methods to get over through the ocean. It's not easy. So, it's unsurpassable. The nature of the ocean is that it is unsurpassable. So, you have to build a bridge. If so many people have to cross over, you have to build a bridge. Now, there is a small difference between Valmiki and Tulsidas. Valmiki says, where this ocean personified, Samudra Raj, he said, there is a ridge in this ocean. Ridge is a natural formation in the ocean that is like a raised platform. Even to this day, when you see Rama Setu, you will see in that NASA image and all that, right? So you actually can see a landmass. So it's a ridge, is an upraised portion in the ocean bed. Very technical, okay? Samudra Raj gives a very technical answer. He says there is a ridge and he points to the region where the ridge begins. He says if you build a bridge on that ridge, then you will have a nice solid foundation and you can cross over the ocean. And the architect, the civil engineer was there right there and he was Nala. Nal was the civil engineer and Neela was the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief knew how to mobilize the troops through the bridge. And Nala, who is the son of Vishwakarma, the architect or the civil engineer, he knew how to build the bridge. And details about how the bridge was built is mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana. What layers were used. Of course, Tulsidas has a different way of conveying the same. He says, Rama was written and the stones floated. In Valmiki Ramayana, the description is different. First, there was a layer of trees, then there was a layer of large rocks, then small rocks, then sand like cement. All this was given, formula was written down, they took measurements, really it is there. In Ramayana, if you read, they were literally taking measurements, they were going and they were picking boulders and they were throwing it and they were making this bridge in a very technical fashion. They built the bridge and they crossed over the ocean and what happened? They went and they fought the war, okay? So they won the war. Now, the question is, was Rama Sharanagati success or failure? Grand failure, right? Grand, actually interesting failure. Sharanagati worked for Vibhishan, so he thought it's a good formula. But the same formula may not work for everyone because everybody is different. Ramachandra is not Kinchana, so it did not work. Final Sharanagati is from the Uttarakanda. So the war was fought. Yes, Ramachandra won the war. Sita was brought back. And Rama and Sita were crowned as the king of Ayodhya, as the queen of Ayodhya. They ruled very happily and stayed together for many, many years. One day, Agastya Muni and many other sages, they came to see Lord Rama in Ayodhya when Ramachandra was the king. At that time, Ramachandra had many questions he wanted to ask Agastya. He wanted to ask many questions about the history of the demons. He was very interested. Who was Rama's father? Who was his grandfather? Who was his great-grandfather? What happened? Tell me their stories. So, story time for Lord Rama. Rama asked these questions. And these answers were given by Agastya. And Agastya was describing one of the ancestors of Lord Rama by the name Mali, Sumali and Malyavan, the three brothers. In fact, Malyavan is a very important character in the Ramayana itself. Malyavan was present with Ravana as Ravana's mama. Okay, Ravana's mama, you know what Ravana's mother's brother? Okay. Yeah, as Ravana's uncle. And he was in fact trying to give him some good advice. Because he had seen the power of Vishnu. So he said, I know, I've heard Rama is not different from Vishnu, so be careful. Don't play your tricks with him. So Malyavan also speaks very wisely in the Ramayana, but Ravana doesn't listen to anything. That's a different story. But now the story is about Mali Sumali. So once in the upper planetary systems, a great war ensued between the Devas and the demons. The Rakshasas at that time were not Ravana. Ravana was not even born. But Mali, Sumali and Malyavan were there. So when this war was going on, at that time, the demigods were not winning the war. They were finding it very difficult because Mali, Sumali and Malyavan were extremely strong. The war was mainly to vanquish these three demons, but the demigods were not being successful. So the demigods, as usual, what do you do when demigods have a problem? Whom do they go to? Eventually, Vishnu. Yeah, Brahma contact mostly. Then eventually they go to Vishnu. Yeah, they go to Vishnu and they say, okay, finally, you're our final resort. You're the only one who can help us. So the Supreme Lord, he comes on Garuda into the war field and he is ready to fight with the demons. At one point, he releases his Sudarshan Chakra. And especially when he sees Mali. So Mali, Sumali, Malyavan, three of them are there. Mali and Sumali were trying to run away from the battlefield when they saw Vishnu appearing in the scene. Now Vishnu had come with his Shankha Chakra and all that and he was all set. And when he saw Mali was running away, Vishnu releases his Sudarshan Chakra. And from back, Vishnu was on Garuda, he was at the back and Mali was running away. There is a Kshatriya dharma that says that one may not kill a person who is fleeing from the battlefield. This verse comes in Srimad Bhagavatam also. When Ashwatthama killed the 17 sons of Draupadi, and that time in Srimad Bhagavatam, I don't know if I put the verse, it's not there, okay. The verse is not there, but you can imagine, the verse says that one should not kill children, sleeping people, those who are not alert and those who are running away from the battlefield. But what was Vishnu doing? He sent a Sudarshan Chakra to kill a person who was fleeing from the battlefield. But Sudarshan was very smart. What he did was, he went from the front and killed okay. But anyhow, Mali was beheaded. That time Malyavan asks this question to the Supreme Lord. How can you do that? Isn't this wrong? According to Kshatriya Dharma, you cannot kill a person who is fleeing from the battlefield. So, the Supreme Lord said, you are talking about Kshatriya Dharma, but I am talking about Narayana Dharma. For me, Sharanagati is more important. They came and they surrendered unto me. So my business is to give them protection and kill you people. It doesn't matter how I deal with you. I will kill you. Because if you ask me which is more important, regular, ordinary dharma like Kshatriya Dharma or Sharanagati Dharma, for me Sharanagati Dharma is more important. And he gives the analogy of the cow and tiger. He says, when a tiger comes and attacks cows, what will you do? You will allow the tiger to come and attack cows. Immediately you will take a sword and from behind you will kill the tiger because you don't want to get attacked, right? So you will kill the tiger. Like that, these demigods, they are like cows. They are helpless. They came and took shelter of me. For me, that is very important. I will give only importance to that. So I will kill you the way I want to do it. So this was one of the Sharanagatis that was also a grand success. So Krishna never fails to give shelter to the surrendered. It was a grand success and it was his personal success. So to conclude, in the beginning of this series, I think on Friday night, I mentioned about Tatparya Nirnaya. The meaning of Tatparya Nirnaya is essence. How do you find out the essence of a scripture? Srila Jiva Goswami has done an in-depth analysis of the Tatparya Nirnaya of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he says Bhakti is the essence. Similarly, Vaishnava Acharyas have done an elaborate analysis on Srimad Ramayana, and they have mentioned that Sharanagati is Tatparya Nirnaya. How do you identify the essence of a scripture? You should look at the beginning, you should look at the end, you should look at the middle, see if that concept is repeated again and again, see if there is a fruit or a result mentioned for that, see if there is Arthavada, that means a detailed explanation for that particular instance, and finally see if it is logically established. These are the 6 lakshanas for understanding Tatparya Nirnaya. We see Sharanagati was there from Balakanda till Uttarakanda. In the beginning it was there, in the end it was there. It was there in the middle. It was repeated again and again. It is something unique that was presented in the Ramayana. The theme of the Ramayana, Sharanagati, it was presented in a very unique way. For every Sharanagati there was a phala. There was a phala of the person who surrendered. What is he asking and what was given to him? Okay, there was Arthavada, that is, it was highly glorified. Like for example, in the case of the Sharanagati that was done to Vishwamitra, Vishwamitra was very glorified. You know why? Because he was ready to give up his vow of becoming that Brahma Rishi, so much so that he was ready to give up all the pious credits and give shelter to the surrender. Right? That's a very beautiful example of Arthavada, glorifying. And finally, Upapatti. This concept must be logically established. It was very logically established in Vibhishana Sharanagati. But what does Sharanagati mean to us from the Ramayana? This is also mentioned by our Acharyas. Rama is the Supreme Lord, he is the Paramatma. Lanka is this material world. Sita is the Jiva. We all are represented by Sita. Ashokavanam is the body. Ravana is the mind, and Ravana has 10 heads, so we all have 10 senses, but the mind is always agitated, right? Mind is always agitated in contact with the 10 senses. The 3 qualities, Rajoguna, Tamaguna and Sattvaguna, are represented by Shurpanaka, Kumbhakarna and Vibhishan, who are the brothers of Ravana. And what did Ravana do? He drove away Vibhishan and he chose to keep Kumbhakarna and Shurpanaka. That is the nature of our mind. We drive away the mode of goodness and we want to keep the mode of ignorance and passion. That is what we want. And who saved the Jiva? Who saved Sita? It was Hanuman. How did Hanuman save Sita? Fantastic. He gave the ring. And what is the ring for us? Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, the Jiva was united with the Supreme Lord through the medium of the spiritual master who was Hanuman. Similarly, when we take Sharanagati, when we decide to go and surrender unto the Supreme Lord, of course mentally also you can do it, but physically as a ritual, proper ritual when you do it through the medium of a Guru. Take initiation in a proper parampara and the Guru will take you to Krishna. This is the Tatparya Nirnaya of Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. Already surrendered. Yeah, he is already a surrendered soul. He was someday, when he meets Ramachandra for the first time, he goes in the garb of a beggar Brahmana, like a beggar, like a bhikshu. He goes. And, but the minute he sees Lord Ramachandra in front of him, he is not able to hold his false identity. He immediately introduces himself that I am the minister of Sugriva. Because when the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord is in front of you, how can you lie? Right? So it was his innate nature to be a devotee. So there was no specific point when he had to go and take shelter. He is already surrendered, like many of our spiritual masters. Right? We are already surrendered. And this lesson is for all of us who are trying to surrender. Beautiful.
Then how
Vibhishan become a devotee.
not only him becoming a devotee, but how he was able to get there was a lot of offering to him. He changed the heart. And at the same time, does Ramayana talk about how did he end up becoming a devotee? Was it from his past life that he took up devotional service?
Uttarakanda mentions this. When it talks about the history of the demons, it specifically gives the history of the three brothers who are Ravana, Kumbhakarna and Vibhishana. And in the Uttarakanda, it is mentioned that the father of these three demons was Vishrava. Okay? The mother of the three demons was Kaikasi, who was the second wife of Vishrava. Vishrava was a great sage, very, very great sage. He was a great devotee as well. When he had the first wife, who was Idavida, Idavida gave birth to a great devotee by the name Kuvera. Kuvera is also celebrated in Srimad Bhagavatam to be a great devotee. In the Bhagavatam, Dhruva Charitra, when you read Dhruva Charitra, Dhruva was very scared actually that he offended Kuvera, and he asks a blessing from Kuvera that may my remembrance of the Lord continue. Why did he ask that blessing? Though Dhruva was a greater devotee than Kuvera, still he was scared of Vaishnava. Right? So Kuvera was a great Vaishnava, but Kuvera was the son of Idavida, the first wife, and the great sage Vishrava. However, Vishrava also married a woman by the name Kaikasi. Now this Kaikasi, she was the daughter of Sumali. Sumali, Malyama. Sumali's daughter was Kaikasi. The reason why Kaikasi went and married, this was also mentioned in the Uttarakanda, the reason why she goes and she marries Vishrava is because she is actually enticed by her brothers, by her uncles. By the father, that this Kuvera has got a lot of opulence. Okay? He's got a lot of wealth. You should also have children from this Vishrava. And that way your children can also become very powerful and they can take back Lanka, because Lanka was given to Kuvera at that time. Your sons can take back Lanka from Kuvera. So she goes and she begs Vishrava that she may be accepted as his wife, and she unites with Vishrava, very similar to Diti's uniting with Krishna. Same story, ditto, in the Sannyasa. Okay? Then these three children are, especially Argon, and she also gets a boon that one child will be very, very dharmic. She also gets a boon. And Vibhishana, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, they would do austerities because they were prodded by their mother's side family to do austerities to gather great boons. And Ravana, when he saw Brahma, he asked that he may not be killed by demons or demigods, but he didn't talk about humanities and deities. Kumbhakarna wanted a world of Nirdevata. Nirdevata means a world without devatas, but of course you all know Saraswati twisted his tongue and he says, instead of Nirdevata, he said Nidra Evatvam. That means I just want to sleep. So he ended up sleeping all the time. And of course, Ravana begged, please let him wake up once in a while. And that's why these events happened. And at that time, Vibhishana, he asked only for a very important boon. He said, whatever the circumstance may be, let me always be on the side of Dharma. Let me always have a devotional attitude and remain on the side of Dharma. These are the things that he asks. And he asks, let the knowledge of Brahmastra dawn on me. That's why at one point in time during the war, Vibhishana is awake when the Brahmastra was shot. Hanuman, Vibhishan and Jambavan were awake at that time. Because Jambavan was the son of Brahma and Vibhishan had this boon that the Brahmastra cannot do anything to him, and Hanuman also had it. So there are some stories from it. So answer to your question is two. One is that his father was a devotee. Okay? And also Uttarakanda mentions his father would always nice. So he would give lot of advice to Vibhishana, seeing his dharmic tendency.